When you're planning a major renovation or a new build, the proposal phase, it should feel like the moment everything finally clicks. You should feel clarity. You should feel confidence. You should feel like you can finally see the roadmap in front of you. But that's not what I hear from a lot of people during this experience. Most people get a one-page estimate, a single number at the bottom, a couple job phases broken down, maybe some selections, and what they always tell me they get is we'll figure it out later. And instead of feeling confident, they feel uncertain. Instead of the proposal bringing peace of mind, it becomes the thing that starts the anxiety. Because the truth is, your proposal is the first real test, whether your builder understands your project and whether they're prepared to build it properly. Vague proposals, it's going to lead to vague expectations. Vague expectations, they're going to lead to the things that bring fear, surprises, confusion, missed items, budget blowouts, and once construction starts, it's too late. Today, I'm going to walk you through how we build proposals at MGB, what they include, why they're so detailed, and what you should expect from any real builder before you sign a contract. Because your proposal, it shouldn't leave you guessing. It should make you feel completely prepared for what's coming next. Today, you guessed it, you can tell from behind me, we're not in a gutted house or a muddy excavation. We're here in the office, and this is where a lot of the real heavy lifting for your projects begins. I want to talk to you about something nobody shows online, and it's really the core of every successful project. It's the proposal. If you've ever heard someone say, we didn't know that was an extra, we didn't know that wasn't included, we didn't realize the budget would change so much, there's a reason for that, and it's not bad luck. It's not miscommunication. It's not just how renovations go. It's because the proposal wasn't built properly from the start. There was no schedule, no cost breakdown, no itemized list. So today I'm going to show you how we build proposals at MGB. And yeah, they're 100 pages long. And why we're that level of clarity and why that level of detail matters? Because we're building your dream home. So here's my honest take on a proposal, and I stand by this. A proposal shouldn't just be a number. It should be a breakdown, line item by line item of your entire project. If your builder hands you a one-page document and they say they're just leaving out some pricing or some selections, they'll figure it out later, that's not gonna happen. That's not transparency, and that's not leading or starting your project off on the right foot. Too many homeowners think the proposal is just step one and just the quick estimate so they can get started, get some numbers, then they're gonna figure some things out. But the proposal is where everything becomes real. It's where you find out whether your builder understands your home, understands your drawings, understands your selections, and also understands exactly how the work needs to be sequenced. A vague proposal leads to vague commitments. Vague commitments lead to vague expectations. So when I talk about proposals, I'm not talking about a piece of paper. I'm talking about preparation, about clarity. I'm talking about the confidence that you need before construction starts, not trying to find it halfway through a project. If a client comes to us and they already have detailed drawings and they're already ready to enter into a proposal, that's fine. We've usually walked them through the commitment to construct. They've worked with their architect, they've participated in pre-construction, made some selections, they've put the time and they've walked through the project and they have a little bit of an understanding. So we decide to sit down with them and we want to go through the proposal with them. We treat it like the moment where everything comes together, and our proposal consists of three major components. First is our cost sheet, and it isn't just a list of numbers. It's broken down line item by line item, job phase by job phase, and it has all of our labor cost, all of our material cost, and then we also provide links and delivery schedule for all the materials you've selected. So if you have an electrical fixture, it's going to show how much it is to rough and install that fixture, and it's also going to show you the cost of that fixture and when that fixture is due to arrive and what the lead time is on that fixture. No guessing, no rounding. There's no you'll find out later. It's clear and it's broken down to the last point. Then there's our written scope of work, which follows the exact same structure as our cost sheet. If your cost sheet is broken down into demolition, framing, and mechanical, rough-ins, floorings, millwork, finishes. Your scope of work matches that, phase by phase, item by item. But instead of just telling you the cost, we're explaining what that cost actually gets you on the job site. So you're able to understand with those two documents, hey, this is what's included in our framing cost, and now broken down description, line item, line item, line item. This is what's included in the scope of work for that. And the third one of our core elements is our project project schedule. And this one is huge. It's where we map out the entire build from day one all the way through completion, on-site inspections, reviews with our team, reviews with your architects and interior designers. You want to be able to cross-reference all three of these documents so that everything can line up. And that means you've done the homework, your builder's taken the time to put all this stuff together, and you know your proposal is signed, sealed, and delivered. Your cost sheet, your scope of work, and your schedule, everything correlates, everything goes together, and there's no guesswork on that project moving forward. Reach out to us for a consultation if you're planning a large renovation or a new build and want to understand what your project will really cost. Not a guess, no ballpark estimates here. We'll give you a thorough breakdown of exactly what you can expect for your project. Here's the thing most people don't realize. The proposal phase is where 90% of construction disasters are born. If the cost sheet is incomplete, you'll see it later in change orders. Scope of work not complete, you're gonna see it in misunderstandings between you, your subs, and your builder. Schedule isn't detailed, you'll see it in delays. Allowances aren't realistic, you're gonna be upset when you get those bathroom fixtures that you really didn't want. So many homeowners come to us with stories about previous renovations or builds where things went sideways. And when we look at the proposals they signed, the problems where they started, it started in the proposals. I've seen it where the electrical allowances wouldn't even cover a bedroom. I've seen proposals where the plumbing was a single line item, listed off all the different rooms at $25,000. Okay, I've seen proposals where the entire structural scope was hidden behind 2 sentences. You're building an entire home. How do you think that that can be described in 2 sentences? You can't. And what's gonna happen if those are the contracts and proposals you accept? Cost overruns, delays, frustration, arguments, stress, all because the proposal wasn't built to reflect the reality. And that's why our proposal is what it is. Detailed, clear, transparent, and always complete. Because if you get this part right, you can trust the rest of the project. Let's talk about a couple we met 3 or 4 years ago. They'd been interviewing builders and eventually came to see us. They asked us for a proposal. What we do a lot of the time, if we're the last ones to look at this, is we'll ask to see the proposals they've received and we'll compare their original proposals that they've received with other proposals and we'll look at ours. So, they brought us the proposal, they asked us to look at it, about 2 pages long, and this was a 5,000 square foot home. So already we knew it's probably gonna be missing some things. So we started to look through. Of course, there's no labor breakdowns. There's no materials, no selections. There was no schedule for the project. None of the allowances made sense for the style of home that was described to us. It was just a number that was, probably tens, hundreds of $1,000s less than it was actually going to take to get this project done. When we're explaining this to the clients and they realize they're probably missing 60 to 70% of the project. And sure enough, a few months later, they called, the numbers started growing on their side, the change orders were piling up, the builder was improvising on site, details weren't in the proposal. So they decided to stop that build with this builder. They came back to us. They had just gotten out of the ground when they came back to us, and we decided to stop it in its tracks. We went back to, our pre-construction, made sure everything lined up, made sure everything made sense. We put in all of the finishes, selections that they wanted. We built a real schedule, real timeline and proposal. We were open and honest with them and we went through it all. And when we finally restarted the project and we got the commitment from the clients to move forward, of course, our number was much, much higher than the original contractor that was in there. But as we were going through the build, everything was running so smoothly. We didn't have any change orders. We had limited delays on sites with the trades. And all of this is because we were just transparent and honest from the very beginning. And we went through that proposal process that we have, and it actually works on the job site. It's not just a guess or a shot in the dark here. We're putting the time in, we're professionals, and we're making this work for our clients. So if you're comparing builders right now, whether it's a new build or a major renovation, I want you to keep a few things in mind as you review these proposals. First, you want to look for transparency. If you can't see costs of certain items and you don't know what the real costs are and they're not broken down clearly, you're walking into something unknown. You're spending a lot of money. You should never be left guessing. You should always know where your money is going and what it costs to get the job done. Second, make sure the cost sheet, scope of work, and schedule all match. These documents should cross-reference each other seamlessly. If they don't add up, you're gonna find inconsistencies later, and inconsistencies in a proposal are gonna become problems in a build. Third, pay attention to the allowances. See a plumbing fixture for $200 and you know that isn't gonna buy you what you really wanna have there. Of course, speak up, take it as a warning that it's not gonna work out for you to get a $200 fixture that you really want, okay? A proper proposal is the foundation of a successful renovation or a new build. It sets the tone, it sets the expectations, and it gives the clarity and confidence you need before construction ever begins. At MGB, our proposal is not a piece of paper. It's a commitment to being transparent, a commitment to being organized, and a commitment to building your project the right way, right from the very beginning. We want people to look at our proposals and have to take a step back because they haven't seen anything so detailed and so large and so well put together. And I want you to think about it. If we're putting proposals together that are causing our clients to really take a step back and go, wow, imagine what our builds and what our renovations do for our clients as well. So if you want to see what a real proposal looks like, one that's going to protect you, prepare you, gives you the confidence to move forward, reach out to us. Make sure to click on next video here where we go through what our contract documents are.